You're watching this channel, you enjoy these videos, we know you do, so why aren't you a subscriber? Do it right now. Subscribe, hit that button and the bell icon to be notified when we put up new content so you'll never miss a moment of Ben Chester.
Right here. Now. Please.
Hi, and welcome to the Audrain Automobile Museum here in Newport, Rhode Island, and our exhibition, More Than Just American Muscle. But the cars we're talking about today are American muscle, and to help us have that conversation is my good friend, Mr. Ben Chester.
Mr. Muscle, they call me.
Mr. Muscle, yeah. Mr. Muscle, exactly.
Yeah,
you know,
that's all I got.
I often wondered about that, and now I realize why we're doing this exhibition. It's because of Ben Chester.
Oh, yes.
And Ben, this pair of cars is really quite interesting because, much like you and me, showing the passing of time and generations, these two cars show a very, very, very close familial relationship that actually is not there at all. These two cars, this 1970 Cuda AAR, Plymouth Cuda AAR, and this 2018 Dodge Challenger Demon SRT, Demon, look very much alike. The Demon is a modern interpretation of this great body style. I think this is one of the best looking cars that came out of Chrysler in the 1960s and early 70s. But what you see on the top bears nothing to what you see underneath. Now, what's really interesting to me, AAR, All American Racers. So tell me about what this car means in terms of the great American racing tradition, Trans Am.
Yeah, this was Plymouth's in to Trans Am racing. And you discussed what a muscle car is, and we've got some examples in this room of flat out muscle cars and sports cars with muscle car engines. This looks like your quintessential muscle car, and in ways it is. But Plymouth marketed this as their sports car for the times. And it was supposed to handle and have plenty of grip and have a lot of road feel, and it was just like what Dan Gurney's team was racing in Trans Am. And in theory, that was true with all the parts and the suspension upgrades and the engine that they have under the hood there. But by modern standards, I think the Demon, which is marketed completely as a drag car, handles better around almost every turn than the Cuda does as a sports car.
Bingo!
Yeah,
exactly. So. It's so funny because I grew up with the Trans Am racing, and it was just absolutely amazing seeing these cars that were recognizable as cars you see on the street being driven by these legendary drivers at tracks like Riverside and Lime Rock and Watkins Glen. It was absolutely amazing, and when I had the opportunity to drive this car, which you can see here in the Audrain Museum network, it was quite a surprise because this car certainly did not handle like a sports car. Lots of power, that's for sure. But sports car?
Yeah, and you look at what, some of our favorite brands were doing in this period. Us young guys, we love Porsches. Porsche was churning cars out that were actually really good at handling at this point. Other companies around the world too, but this thing is a hoss. Like, this is huge. Like, and by no means is it an agile, lightweight sports car. And they saw some success with the race car with the modifications they made, but this on the road it's a handful.
It is very much the sort of local street tribute to the race cars. The race cars, as prepared by Gurney's team for Plymouth, were absolute monsters. I'm sure that they handled beautifully. Plus, it's a very interesting thing that looking at this period of time, we talk a lot here about the characteristics of time and country. That, what a 1950s American sports car was is sort of a 1970s Luxo barge. So, again, putting things into the context of the time, this did have a combination of power and handling. You couldn't find it in a lot of other American cars. But by today's standards, it's something else entirely. And your point about the Demon is so well taken. Again, here in the Audrain Museum network, you can see a video of me driving this car, and it really shocked me Because, you know, like everybody else, you look at the numbers and you think, oh, this is going to be an animal. This is going to be absolutely crazy. It's going to be...
Yeah.
This is a car with over 800 horsepower.
Yep.
The ability with the drag crate to do insane things, to pop wheelies, etc. It's got a power sunroof and a heated steering wheel.
Yeah. Nuts.
Can you imagine back in 1970? It's like, we're going to give you this hot Mopar muscle car, and it's going to have a sunroof and a heated steering wheel. They'd say, well, I don't think so.
Yeah. It's bizarre. But one thing that probably to me is the most that these two have in common is the marketing behind it. I mean, you look at the stickers on the Cuda, it's like, I want to own this. I want to race. I don't really care what it drives like. It's got the stickers, it's got the stripes, that's all I need. With the Demon, the Challenger had already been out for, what, a decade? Like, it was a very familiar shape. And they found a way to continue selling this car and drawing in so much attention and popularity to the brand with the $1 Demon crate, another $1 to delete the seats, you know, the skinny tires. It was all a great marketing scheme. And yeah, I've driven the car too, and it almost feels like there's something wrong with the car because it's not spinning tires all the time. But that's how the car's set up. It's got soft suspension, it's got the best tires, it's a straight line machine, and that's how it's built, and it does that really well.
It's an amazingly functional machine that I think a lot of people who have not had the great fortune to have intimate experience with this car would be shocked by it. This car is so incredibly well crafted.
Yeah,
it will go as fast as you want it to go in a straight line and still turn and stop.
Yeah.
It's a brilliant machine that you could drive this across the country. You would not get tired.
You really could. Yeah. I mean, you would get tired getting in and out of the car every 90 miles to refuel it. That's about it. But yeah, it really is a comfortable car. The seats are massive. Everything about it's pretty quiet when you have the windows up, and and then you put race fuel in it, and you add 150 horsepower or whatever, and it's just amazing.
You're gone.
Yeah, Dodge did a great job with that. They did a really good job bringing attention back to the brand with the Hellcat and the Demon, and they're one of the last companies to keep pushing the envelope as to what's really like allowed today and what's possible performance-wise, and you got to give them credit to that. But half of that's marketing, which is really impressive.
And it's brilliant to see, even in the marketing for the AAR Cuda, it's probably the only time anyone ever referred to the man as Daniel Gurney.
Yeah, right.
Which I think is absolutely so hysterical.
Yeah.
But these are great tributes to what America really offered in terms of performance, pure performance, and a great conversation piece about what defines a muscle car. Is it crudeness? Well, then the AAR, a road racing car, is as muscle as you can get. But the Demon is all about performance, but delivered in a way which is absolutely inexplicable to somebody who arrived from 1970 in a time machine. They wouldn't recognize it at all.
There's a quote about something about bodybuilders and people just building muscle to build muscle, but having muscle is all about how you use it. So that's, to me, that's my definition. But that's why we put the show on, so everyone can decide.
Having muscle is all about knowing how to use it.
I have no muscles, so.
Thanks for joining us, and be sure to watch our next videos here in the Audrain Museum Network. Thanks, Ben.
Thanks.